So today we're talking Facebook in the beginner sense, and we're going to look through and talk about some of the types of content that you could use. So we're going to talk about, first of all, I'm going to talk about some tips before you post. So it's really important to have these things in the back of your mind, or just thinking about what's moving forward for your post. So as I've got there, of course, yes, plan. So you used to be able to use Facebook in a very ad hoc fashion when it first came out, but not anymore. So you really need to plan out the content and what you're saying to your potential audience. So, and I'm not talking about a 50-page document. I'm just talking about a very simple spreadsheet or a Word document or something like that that gives you some overarching ideas and themes and how your page will actually approach your audience and what you're trying to portray to them in the content. Your audience obviously is the next step. Who is your audience? If you don't know your audience, you need to find out. So it's really important to work out who they are, where they're from, what they're looking for from you as part of the content and what you're providing them, and understanding who they are, because once you know who they are, your content will be very easy and will just literally fall into place. So that's really important. Consistency is key. With all the algorithms that Facebook has behind the scenes that we obviously don't see, but we know they're there, if you're not posting consistently to your audience, you'll lose them. So if you're only posting once a week here and there, or maybe next week you don't post, the following week you might put 5 out there, then you don't do anything, it's not consistent. So the algorithms are looking for that consistency with your audience. And the more that you're consistent and you're posting, the more your audience is going to see it and they're going to interact, which means when they interact, so if they like, comment or share on your post, your feed will come up to them more regularly and they'll see it more. So it's really important to get that consistency right. Your insights play a huge part in all this as well. It gives you a lot of great information into your insights and has all the stats and figures and everything you possibly could need to know about your audience, about your page, about your posts, everything. So this is a really good area to understand your audience and to understand what you're providing to them as types of content. Really, really good information. And if you haven't looked at this before, I really urge you to go and have another look, or have a look regularly so that you can see what's going on. It'll tell you exactly what's going on with your page. The quality of your posts or the content that you're sharing is absolutely paramount. It's so often, unfortunately, I see businesses post information or quality of the content that's just not right, or it's just not there. So for instance, it might be an image that's out of focus, or it could be an image that's not even relatable to your audience or even to the caption of your post, for instance. So please, please make sure that the quality of what you're putting out there is absolutely the best you can provide. And if you need help, then you might need to have some professional footage taken, or you might need help from outsourcing someone to help you with your posts. It just depends what it is, but you need to make sure that that quality is there. A big one that I find makes my life a lot easier is batching. Now, what I mean by batching is I might go out for a day, I might go out for a couple of hours, I might just find an hour of a day somewhere and just go and take photos galore, go take videos galore until I've got that much content. I've probably got enough to cover me for maybe a month or even longer, depending upon what I'm trying to capture. So batching is really important because it makes your life so easy. And all you have to do is sit it into a folder somewhere, into Dropbox folder or anywhere on your computer, and you've got that information there sitting there waiting for you to use. And trust me, it makes your life 100% easier when it comes time to posting, because then you're not sitting there one morning going, what do I post about today? You know, what am I going to do? All you have to do is look at the content that you've already got, and you should be able to create some wonderful captions around what you've taken already. So really interesting and a really great way of moving that moving your posts forward. Remember, hashtags and your tags. So Let's start with hashtags. So on Facebook, it didn't really become a thing and probably until last year, mid last year sometime. And it was never really something that people focused on, but now it is. So it is definitely something to add to your posts. You don't need to go as far as you do with your Instagram posts, for instance, where you can have up to 30 hashtags on your posts. In Facebook, keep them very clear, keep them on topic, and only have maybe 4 or 5, 6 at best. I wouldn't even go anything further than that. So hashtags are playing a part now on Facebook, so don't forget those. And then your tags are, you're attaching your post to another business on Facebook. So for instance, if you're an accommodation provider and you're going to tag the local or talk about the local restaurant or cafe that's near you, if they have a Facebook page, and most do these days, make sure you find their correct username, not just their Facebook page name, because sometimes they do different. So if there's 2 ABC cafes in the world, or even, you know, in Australia for that matter, they can't have the same tag name or the same username. So you'll need to make sure that you're using the right username when you tag, and you know you've done it right when you look at your post and you've got that blue shaded area around the outside of that business name. And that way you know it's up there. If it doesn't work, if you do your @ symbol and you start typing in their name and the list of options doesn't come up after it, then check their username, because most likely they have got something different to what you think or what you would expect for that business. So really important, because then what they'll do is they'll get a notification of that tag, and then they can like your post, they can comment, they can share it, which all helps towards your engagement on your page. So really important to make sure that you're tagging correctly. And then of course, lastly is scheduling. So if you're going to go and get a whole heap of batching, you're going to go and get a whole heap of images and videos, and you're ready for the next couple of weeks or the next month, sit there for one afternoon, one morning, when I know it's hard, and in a lot of cases people have multiple jobs within their business, but sit there and schedule, because I can guarantee you it will save you time and money and effort down the track, because you would have sat there, you would have scheduled out your posts for the next week, next fortnight, next month, if you're that good, and it's there ready to go. You don't have to worry about it. It takes a load off your mind. All you will need to do is make sure you monitor those posts. So when I say monitor, I mean for responses, so comments, if someone's asked a question, and then also look at the content that you've posted. If you've gone and posted something, say for instance, a beautiful sunset, or it's a beautiful blue day and it's a gorgeous day, and you look out the window that day and it's a thunderstorm and there's lightning, then you might need to quickly go and get that scheduled post off and remove it and do something else, or just reschedule it for another day. So just make sure that you're keeping an eye on those different posts and making sure that you know, you're on top of it in that respect. So it doesn't, just because you schedule doesn't mean you haven't got anything to do. You still need to monitor those posts and just be aware of those. Okay, so now with the content itself. So let's go to, the types of content here. So first of all, what can we talk about? Well, anything and everything in my view. So what's your story? What can you tell people about your business, or about you as the person who runs the business, or about your staff? You know, what's the behind the scenes that you can talk about with people? So if you're a restaurant, for instance, and you're showing the morning set up for the day, or you're getting ready for a function, or you've got some beautiful fresh produce that's come in the door, or something like that, there's a post in itself. You know, show people you can you know, what's going on. Let them know, because they want to know. People want to see as much as in front and what people can enjoy, to what they can actually see behind the scenes. So it's really important. So I can hear someone talking in the background. If you wouldn't mind just muting yourself, if you haven't already, that would be great. Thank you very much. So all these things are fantastic behind the scenes content. So showing someone cutting up the food, getting ready, or showing someone how to make a sauce that can go with a great piece of steak, for instance, or showing them how to make a good coffee, or, there's all these different things that you can do. And trust me, there's every business out there has something that you can tell us. So there's always something behind the scenes that you can show, or part of your story or your staff. You can do a staff spotlight, for instance. The other one is the actual stories. So on Facebook, you now have had for a while, just like Instagram, you've got an area, called stories, where these little pop-up stories that come up onto your page for 24 hours and then they disappear. So it could be something just very quickly you want to tell someone about. It could be something funny that's just happened, a quirky thing about your business. It could be, anything basically that's just a short burst piece of information that people would like to see about your business. So keep it fun, keep it quirky. These are the areas that people really engage well with, and it's just a bit of fun to have on your page. So this is the other type of content you can have. Then, of course, if you're writing a blog, and if you joined us yesterday, we talked about blogs. If you have a blog on your website that you're writing regularly, use it as content on your website. It's another piece that you can use. The other great advantage of your blog on your Facebook page is that it will send them back to your website, and it will give them, that traffic will then go to your website, which is what we want to do to help your SEO, of course, on your website. So your blog's really important if you're writing a blog. Then talking about your customers, your guests, if there's a guest who doesn't mind doing a short little video about their experience with you, or if you get a review that you can use on a post, or if you've got, something interesting about a guest, maybe it's a birthday, an anniversary, or they're using your product or service for something special, then talk about them. Obviously get permission first, but talk about it, because people, again, they like to be able to see others' experiences with your business. So it's really important to have a bit of a mix in there with this particular piece of content as well. Asking questions or a poll, you've got the ability to use a poll within your posts, but asking questions work really well because everybody wants to give their 5 seconds worth of an answer. So it could be just a very generic question. It could be, again, I'll use a restaurant as an example. It could be, what should be our special of our menu tomorrow? And you might post a photo of 2 dishes and you're asking people, is it A or B? Very simple, but works tremendously well, because what it does is straight away is it gets engagement on your posts, because people want to ask the question, answer the question. So it's something that can be done very easily, and a poll is also excellent, because especially if you've got 3 or 4 things that you'd like people to get feedback from, then you can put a poll in, and Facebook provides that poll opportunity within your posts. So lots of different ways to garner the different content that you've got. And then, of course, you've got promotions, competitions, new product experiences that you might have within your business, or any of your sales focused posts. Keep these to a minimum, because people don't like to be sold to. They want to be given information and given good quality information that's going to help them. So education is always a very good thing. Entertainment's always excellent as well. But your sales and something that you're trying to drive something to in that respect, keep these to a minimum and use all the other ones to bolster up your page with the content. So if you've got a promotion, fantastic, talk about it, but I wouldn't be doing it every day. Or I wouldn't be doing it every few days for that matter. But if you've got a competition, that's a different story, because you want more people involved. But that one you might have a little bit behind. New product is always excellent, because it's something new happening with your business or a new experience. But when you come down to that nitty-gritty sales, that's when people start to sort of balk at your post, and they might stay away from your posts a little bit. So try to keep that sales side of things to a bare minimum if you can. And then, of course, the last part here in why it's a different color is this is just some of the ways you can provide your content. So obviously images is a big part of every person's post, and video is another one. If you can do videos, fantastic. But remember that quality of the video, and they need to be short. Nothing too long. Unless the video, if it's a longer video, it's got to be a very good quality video to keep them engaged with it. What you'll find is people will only stay tuned onto a video for about 10 seconds if you're lucky. So you might get 3 or 5 seconds out of them, but 10 seconds is, 10 to 15 seconds is pretty much the longest you should be posting on Facebook. Live video, of course, is another great avenue, and Facebook has very openly said that they are favoring live video and video for that matter. But live video, if you can ever do that, never try that, please do. Have a bit of a fun with it, but also be a little bit mindful and planned for it as well. So don't just start a live video because Susan said to start a live video. Think about what the topic is and think about what you're going to show them, because you want to keep their attention and you want to make sure that they're there in the first place. So you might need a couple of lead up posts to say, hey, join us live coming up on Friday at this time, and we're going to show you how to make this sauce for your steak, just as an example. So just be mindful of that. They're an excellent way also to announce competition winners, because people want to know who's obviously won. So you can, again, in your lead up post with your competition, you could say, hey, watch on Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at this time, at this place, and we're going to announce or draw the winner of the competition that you've entered, or something like that. So excellent way of getting engagement onto your posts when you're doing a competition. And then, of course, your links, which is what you would use for your blog, for instance. So a link off of your website back to your blog, and that one will provide that extra traffic through to your audience. So that's just some very quick hints around before you post and some of the types of content that you can post. And then, of course, we wouldn't have a session today without some sort of action for you to walk away with. So what I'd like to see you do is create a plan just for the next week, or the next fortnight, or if you feel a little bit ambitious, go for the next month. It's totally up to you. But let's just do a plan for the next week. So sit down this afternoon if you've got some time, or tomorrow morning, and create a plan to have a minimum of 4 posts that go out on your page next week. Now, if you don't already have the images or the videos for that, then you might need to go and find those images and videos, or, like I said, go outside, go out for the day, go out for the afternoon, and go and batch those images so you've got them on hand at that time. Then, of course, go and schedule them. Very easy to schedule your posts. You will need to use an area called Creator Studio on Facebook. You all have access to that. So simply to find it, on your left-hand side menu of your page, you will see an option for a Creator Studio to go through. Now, if by chance you don't see that, you will have the ability to go and look at, it'll probably say something like published posts or publishing, or it could say a couple of different things, but you will have access to it. If you haven't got that, then you simply just go type into Google Facebook Creator Studio, and if you're already logged into Facebook, it will automatically bring your Creator Studio up for you. And there you'll be able to schedule your posts for your next week. And then, as I said to you before, once you've scheduled them, don't just forget them. You've got to go and check them. So make sure when they've been posted, monitor them for any comments or questions that come through, and then respond, obviously. So if you get a question, make sure you respond. Or if you just get a comment to say, this is a fabulous product, or this is a fabulous service, just go, thank you. Just simply respond, because what that does is that gives you the engagement and the interaction back with these people. And the more that you interact with them, the more they're going to see your posts. So really, really important. So that's your action for next week. And hopefully, if you get the chance, tag Tourism Tribe or Navi into it as well, so that we can see your posts, because we'd love to be able to see what you're doing, and we can come back and comment. We can help you. We can potentially share. We can, like your post, whatever the case may be. We'll try to do the best we can, and we'll do that for you. But don't forget to tag us, because we won't know otherwise. All right. So that's just the little bits and pieces for today's session. I look forward to seeing you at the next session. And if you happen to be with me tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.